Welcome to Visualize, the podcast where collaboration fuels change. I'm your host, Chris Baker, and each week we'll explore incredible connections between nonprofits, businesses, and the community. This is a space where we highlight inspiring partnerships, uncover strategies for creating meaningful impact, and share stories that show how working together can make all the difference. Whether you're a nonprofit leader, a business owner, or someone just passionate about building connections, this podcast is for you. Welcome back to Visualize. Before we dive in, we just want to give a huge thank you to our brand partner for this episode, Matthew Burnson with Tom James. Matthew isn't just a clothier, he's a styled advisor who brings fully custom wardrobes right to your door. Whether you're dressing for a boardroom or for the big stage, he'll make you sharp so you can take the lead. We're proud to have Matthew and Tom James support this podcast, so check out tomjames.com or the show notes to connect with him directly. Let's move on to today's episode. Today, we have Angine Moss. She is the founder of Hosanna4Youth, exposed and grown as woman. Yes. So, the main organization, Hosanna4Youth, is Hosanna, the number 4, youth.org. Angine Moss is a dynamic force, and I know this from experience, of a grassroots leadership, leading both a successful cleaning company and powerful nonprofit. With programs like Exposed and Grown as Woman, she empowers youth and women through education, trauma healing, wellness, and community service. Welcome, Angine.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. It is a long time coming. I've been wanting you to be on this show for a long time.
Yes.
We've had such synergy since we met. And that was 3 years ago, almost at this point. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
3 years ago at the Chamber.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been a long, beautiful journey. Tell me a little bit more about yourself.
So not only do I run a nonprofit and I am an entrepreneur with my business since 2007, I also am a mother of 2 adult children and a grandmother of 2. So most of my time is usually outdoors. You know, I am a sun person for life, anything outdoors.
Yes.
I'm a motorcyclist, meaning I ride motorcycles, and a lot of people find that hard to believe when I have to, reveal my true things that I do. But I'm a photographer at heart, meaning I'm an amateur photographer.
Okay.
I love to take pictures of animals. Is it a name for that?
Well, when pet photographer, love of animals photographer.
I guess.
Animal photography.
Yes. So that's what I do in my spare time. Other than that, meeting people, collaborating with other organizations, getting to network with new people. I love people, to be honest. I have this knack for, just meeting and gracing others because either they can help me or I can help them. So I guess I have that serving spirit that goes along with what I do in my business life and in my nonprofit life. Yeah.
I mean, I remember seeing you on stage and wow, can you command a room?
Oh my goodness. That was I was so nervous. Oh.
I didn't see it.
So let's just talk about that for a minute.
Let's talk about that.
So with my nonprofit, we deal with childhood sexual trauma, right? And we've been a nonprofit located in Broward since 2006. And I've met some amazing people, right? And so I joined the chambers, right? Mm. And this particular incident that Chris is speaking about, that it was a pitch contest. I knew it was a pitch contest, but I was not going to, enter into this contest. At the last minute, some of the people in the room and some very dear friend of mine, they said, put your card in. I said, oh, shh. I'm shaking like a leaf, right? So I was the last card to go into the pitch contest.
Drawn. Yes, you were.
I was the last one to drop my card in there. And I was like, it's no way they're going to call my name because I was the last one. I was just thinking all of this. And lo and behold, the last card they pulled after shaking it up vigorously.
They did. Yeah.
Was Angine Moss, Hosanna4Youth. And the look on my face was...
Honestly, in my opinion, when you got up and you started speaking for that pitch competition, I did not see any nervousness. You just went into telling your story. You were so honest, raw, authentic.
Mm-hmm.
It was so beautiful. I literally was in tears just because you were talking to yourself as a third person.
Mm-hmm.
But the way that you brought in storytelling and you brought in your journey of how you would help yourself, it still gives me chills. I have goosebumps right now. It was so good. It was seriously one of the best.
And to say that, I think that's what allowed Hosanna to have the reputation that it has now, with helping people heal that childhood trauma, is because it's my lived experience and I can meet the person where they are to let them see how far they can come. And with that, I think that makes my story so authentic, so, emotional, and so relatable that people can sit back. And when I got the mic to do this story at the chamber and to do the pitch, I had the draw within, right?
Yeah.
See, most of the times with me, when I walk into a room, people see the exterior. They don't know the history of who I am or what I've been through and all of that. So it's they look and they say, oh, she's dressed. Oh, she's nice looking and all this stuff like that. And then I begin to speak and I begin to reveal parts of me and they say, oh, wow, I would have never known.
Yep.
So what I wanted that day inside the chamber is to meet every other little girl and little boy that was in that room so they can see I'm brave. I put on a cape every day. I tell my story and I walk in defiance that my past has nothing to do with who I am today.
You put it in a corner and you don't let it define you.
No, not at all.
It's still there.
It's there.
But you don't have to take it with you.
No.
You can leave it right there in the corner and just keep moving forward strong.
Well, I'm going to say this. I have to say this. Some days I have to pat that little girl now. I ain't going to put on no airs. I have to, some days are like that I have to take her, that little girl, and say, we got this. We're okay. I know you're scared right now, but we're going to trust the process. Let's keep going. And that's because once you heal, I'm not saying heal is a magic word. I know it's so cliche these days. But once you identify with what you've been through, and I own it, that's who I am. It's nobody else's story, it's mine. So I don't allow it to make choices for me today. You follow what I'm saying?
Do follow.
Yes. So that was huge for me. And I have to accredit that pitch contest as being the catalyst to just any chance you get, share what you've been through. You're helping someone else.
Well, that's the actual, how great speakers, they go deep into their story.
Mm-hmm.
They pull from lived emotions, trauma, so that everybody can relate to them.
Yes.
And then once you're able to connect to your audience and connect everybody that's there, you can literally go steps and leaps beyond to make a huge difference and an impact in the world. So I love what you're doing. I am so grateful that we both got to be in that competition because I was also called.
Yes,
That was a lot of fun.
Yes.
And I remember during that moment, they said the minute you start talking, your timer starts. And I literally stood there for 15, 20 seconds and just gathered myself, and then I went into it. but it worked. I was able to tell a story. I was able to pitch the business in a way that everybody could relate to it.
Exactly.
And it did work.
And it created a lot of relationships in that moment.
It did.
Yes.
Like, I love the pitch competition. I hope they continually do it every single year. I think it's one of the most beautiful work that Karen and Tracy brought to that beautiful committee and space. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
What does the journey behind Exposed look like for you?
So Expose the Conversation was one of the first programs that I created for Hosanna4Youth. Okay. That exposed the conversation, just like the name. I wanted everybody to be like, exposed. Because so many times victims are more exposed than the perpetrator. Right? And so I wanted victims to understand that you don't have to bear the shame, the fear of any of it. Because as long as you're quiet about it, your perpetrator gets to roam freely and do these things. So we're going to shift the energy.
Yeah.
We're going to be bold and stand up and say, you did this. So expose the comment. It's yes. As long as you keep what happened to you a secret, it tears you up in the inside. But the minute you say it out loud, I'm not saying that you have to go confront your perpetrator, but you have to confront you. You know,
Yes.
So saying it out loud gives it a voice, you know. So Expose the Conversation was, I'll say, Hosanna4Youth snatching the rug. You know how they say you're cleaning, pushing it under the rug. We snatching the rug up and saying, hey, it's dust under here. We got to get all this stuff from under here so that we can grow and be better about ourselves.
It's taking back your power.
Taking it back. Truly taking it back.
Because you're right. If you let it bottle it up, the person that did this has all the power.
Exactly.
They keep it, and by exposing it, you are taking back that energy.
Exactly.
You're taking back that power, and you're cleaning up for yourself.
Yes.
It's not always about for everybody else.
For you.
Yes. I love it. I love it. How does Hosanna4Youth meet the real needs of our community?
Oh, goodness. Just imagine being, and I'm going to go a little deep, okay? Just imagine being that young girl living with your stepmother and your father, and your stepmother is an addict and an alcoholic. And every day you go to school, the teacher doesn't know that you wasn't able to sleep that night because of all the bickering and the things that was going on in the household. And you get into school, your grades are failing. This is the safe place you feel. You're getting a meal. You're getting the things you can't get at home, right? It's like 700 more little girls like that right now.
Oh, yeah.
You understand? So the importance of it for this community is now it's a place for us. It's a place for girls like I was, It's a place that you can have these type of conversations and somebody gets it, When I was a teenager, they had said, hey, she's not going to be anything. I was a statistic, a real statistic. Anything that you can think of that is happening today in our communities with our youth, that was me. I was a teen mom at 14, and here it is to look at myself at 55.
You don't look 55.
I have to look in the mirror and be like, oh, wow. I went through that. I was deemed not to graduate high school. I dropped out in the 11th and I went back. Someone on the streets at a bus bench, some lady said she was calling truancy on me. I was like, I'm done. Forget school. I'm pregnant. And she goes, I'm calling the police. You need to be in school. I went back to school. I ended up going to Siegel Alternative School. And at Siegel at that time, I was able to go back and graduate with my class. But the day of graduation, I was in labor, and I had my daughter on June 10th, and that was graduation day.
It was.
So just imagine, it's so many little girls in our community that home life is in shambles, and boys, but the home life. And that's what Hosanna stands on. We dealing with the stuff that's in the home. So at first we started out with just for victims, but then we had to incorporate the family, because if I help you deal with what you're going through, but then you got to go back to your environment, guess what? You're going to shift.
You're going to go
back to what you know. Survivor mode, fight or flight.
You always go back to what's the most comfortable and the most relatable.
I did it many a time.
Trust me, I'm probably in the middle of one cycle myself, so I totally understand.
Yeah.
And it's hard to step out of that if the people that you're surrounded by aren't there to support you or give you what you're needing in that space so that you can move forward and move on.
Correct. Back in my time, you didn't have a presence of nonprofits living in the inner city, I'll say. You didn't have a presence of nonprofits. You didn't have persons that you can trust with what's going on in your house. Because back then, it was what goes on in this house stays in this house. And it was like a code. You better not.
Yeah. I remember going through that myself. It was like, no matter what happens, stays in this house.
Yeah.
And for me, that's not okay.
It's not okay.
And I went through bits and pieces of my own hell growing up because of that. Because not being able to speak out, or when I spoke out,
right,
it was not being allowed. I was being shunned for speaking up against my family, but my family was doing wrong.
Right.
They were, they were hurtful. They were physically abusive. They were doing things wrong. And even when I went to go get help, my counselor saw something wrong. They sent out social services and they lied to social services.
Of course.
And unfortunately, they believed them and nothing changed. So I was still living with all of this, and I'm like, well, is it okay for me to speak out? Like, I lost my power. And it wasn't until about 10 years ago that I said, enough is enough. I'm done. I'm not letting you guys be this way.
Right.
You can't control me anymore. This is my space. This is my life. This is my energy. And I removed the toxicity because it was not okay.
It's not.
And that was how I had to grow.
And the generation today is totally opposite than you and I and our time. Yeah. So now you have a more bolder generation, and they communicate different and they process things different, So I was going to say you have to, but it's more so we have to adapt to how the youth are today in order to reach them today. I can't in my 55 years of life try to school them off of what I've technically went through, or basically how they did it back then. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We have to be a little more different with our approach with this generation, because it is a different type of energy with them to us. And I thank you for sharing your part, because what they don't see a lot of is our men speaking up.
It's something that I'm definitely speaking up more.
Okay.
I've actually done a lot of it on this podcast, actually. I've become more vulnerable and speaking out of the truth that I had to deal with.
Right.
And I empower everybody to use their voice.
Yes.
And do not let it eat you up inside.
Right.
Like, you need to speak out. you need to look for services like Hosanna for You to have somebody that can relate to it, that can walk you through it so that you can take your power back.
And I'm going to say this. I remember I had to be, I'll say 15, maybe 14, 15. And I went through a mental crash, right? And at the time, I was going through a lot in my home life and everything like that. And I took a bunch of pills, right? And when I was found, I don't remember all of that, but I know I woke up and I was in the hospital at Memorial Hospital, God. And next thing I know, they were like, well, we have to take you to the state hospital. I was like, the state? What I gotta go over that for? You know, I'm like wigging out and they was like, well, because you attempted suicide. And I'm like, oh, wow. So I was there for a week at the Florida State Hospital for attempting suicide. And that's because I didn't have an outlet. You know, here I am, this teen that's been sexually abused, been mentally abused, physically abused, and all these things going on that I never spoke about. I'm just trying to hold it in. And it was killing me, literally.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And I can remember telling them, I want my dad. I want to see my dad. And they said, you can't see your dad. But in the room, it had this little like square window in the door. And you could see, you know, they let him peek his eyes. And in that moment, all I could say is, I'm sorry. I'm not crazy. I'm sorry. I kept saying, I'm not crazy. Because we associate mental with crazy, and that's not always the case.
It's not.
It's traumatic experiences that have taken over that you haven't voiced out or know that you can say, hey, I don't like this.
Right.
You know? So once I got out of there, it had spread it all over the community. It was all at the schools. Everybody knew. And, you know, someone said to me, how did you feel being in there? Right? And I said, I felt safe. I felt safe. A lot of youth are looking for their safe place.
Yeah.
And they don't have it in the community. They don't have it in the home. They don't have it in the church. They don't have it at the school. And I'm just saying, not all of them don't have it. And they're looking, and you see them searching. When you see them out on the streets and doing the things that they do, they're searching.
They're needing it. They're needing a safe space so that they can release what they're holding.
Release it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be a medical person. You could be the person that you may one day, you know, get that youth in front of you or that adult that's still suffering in silence to say, hey, your conversation with me really touched me in a way, and I never looked at it like that. I'm going to try that, you know, just the little bit. And that's where kindness come in.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to have the humility to be kind. You just never know.
You don't. This is a really good segue. So one of the things that we focus on here is collaboration. Mm-hmm. So you never know who's going to be that right person to walk in. So one of the things is, how do you build that trust with new partners, specifically in this trauma-related topics that we're having to talk about?
Ooh, that's a big one, because I had to learn to get there. Let me say that. Okay. With one of my things within myself was trust. That was a big thing for me to, release, out of fear and all the trauma. So trust was something when I started Hosanna4Youth, I was scared of the word. Trust what? I'm going to tell these people about my organization, and they're going to try to figure out how we do what we do, and they're going to take it and this and that. So I'll tell you, earlier on in starting Hosanna, that was my mental, like I couldn't trust anybody. And some of it was proven, you know. First hit the scene, we had events and went to collaborate with others, and they say, oh, it can't be done. They stole it, did it. And I'm like, right? And then it was other organizations that we approached for that collaboration. We wanted to come together and see what we can do together to better serve. And it was like, oh no, we're this and we don't need you and all that stuff. And I'm like, but wait a minute. We can help shut it down, no nothing, especially when I start talking about funding.
So yeah, when we talks about money.
Yeah. So that got shut down. And then it was like, okay, how do you create something you need, that relationship where you can say, I'm collaborating with this other organization and we're doing it for the greater good of the community, right? I had to take self out of it, right? I had to take myself out of it and look at it at the whole of the organization, right? When I say take myself, my little monster that sits over here and be like, trust is your thing. You got an issue with trusting people. And, so take yourself out and look at the organization. I don't know everything in the nonprofit sector.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I have to be able to listen and learn and connect with other organizations that has the piece that I don't have.
Right.
So in doing so, I watch how the leaders of the organizations that I want to collaborate with, I watch how they move. When I say that, how engaged are they with the people that's in the community? Are they reaching the audience that I want to reach? Is their story collaborating with the story I want Hosanna to hold,
Yep.
So in that, I begin to pursue, it's almost like a pursuit, that organization or that leader. And I have a whole portfolio of how us together can make magic in this community. And it has proven to work. It proved that with the collaborations that I have a friend of mine, she has an organization, She Me Her. It proves, I have another one, Lou Foundation, proven, and right now I'm in mentorship with the Urban League. Dr. G is amazing. You know what I'm
Yeah.
Yeah. And she knows so much. You know what I'm saying? So, and her staff knows a lot.
It's those collaborations that can really make a huge difference.
Right.
Because the expertise that someone else has and they're bringing it into your organization, it's just amplifying everything that you're doing, and it's making it stronger, and it's making the community better. And that's really what the goal is.
Yes.
That we're all trying to do, is just make our community stronger, better, and healthier.
But you have to be willing.
You have to be willing to be open. And able to receive.
Yeah. I was going to say always learning.
Yes.
And that was key to me because I had to say, for instance, with the Urban League, right? I had to say, I don't know this. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't come from a nonprofit background. I was in corporate America. So to now have this passion that's driving me and the integrity in the community, you know what I'm saying? It was like, I need to learn what to do. They started talking about grants and I was like, I never even wrote a grant. You know what I'm saying? And, it just made me aware of certain things about myself that I need to get in place. So when you're thinking about collaboration, you have to be organized.
Yes.
You have to be organized, you have to have some bit of punctuality, like it's not on your time. You got to think about yours and theirs.
Mhm.
And so it's a lot that I have learned, and I'm always learning. But collaboration, I always hashtag everything of ours on social media that collaboration is key.
It's so powerful. I mean, the fact when you actually tag, it's completely free. It's easy to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's surprising like how many people forget to do that step.
Yes.
But that extra level of collaboration makes a huge difference.
Yes. And I think having the reputation and being able to connect with other organizations, it doesn't just stop with your collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
Collaboration is just not working with someone on a project. It's also mentioning their names in rooms that they're not at. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because it allows someone else to hear, and they'll say, oh, I can connect with this organization, and now it's 3 of us. You know what I'm saying? Now it's 4 of us. It can go so far, especially in these times where funding is kind of being cut a little bit. We can creatively do some things together.
What I've noticed is that a lot of nonprofits are actually putting both their name and another organization, and they're collaboratively looking for funding.
Yes.
And I think that's even stronger, especially for the grantors, because now that they know that same amount of money is going to go in 2 places instead of 1, it's a stronger application.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
I'm learning. It is.
So as we need to wrap up, I wanted to say one huge thank you to Matthew Burnson from Tom James. Thank you for being our brand partner for this episode. And my favorite question that I always end the show with is, what is the legacy that you personally want to leave for future generations?
The legacy that I am going to leave the future generations is don't believe that you can't. You can. I am walking proof that you can do whatever you want to do, but you got to be willing to do the work.
True. It's very true.
Very true.
So how do people get in touch with Hosanna4Youth so that they can reach out if they're needing your services or if they're just wanting to support the organization?
So Hosanna4Youth, you can follow us on all social media platforms at Hosanna, Hosanna, the number 4, Youth, Youth. That's Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We have a YouTube. YouTube, and we're on Twitter as well. We're on LinkedIn as well. Our website is www.hosanna, Hosanna, 4, the number 4, and youth, youth.org. And you can always call our office at 954-300-1370.
Thank you so much, Angine, for being on the show today.
You're welcome.
And I hope everybody doesn't let anything eat you up inside. Speak out. Take your power back.
I agree.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me on this episode of Visualize. We hope that the inspiration and practical insights can help you foster stronger connections and meaningful change. Don't forget to subscribe, share the episode, and leave us a review. To learn more about Visuals by Momo and how we support collaboration and storytelling, visit visualsbymomo.com. A huge thank you to everyone out there listening. Until next time, remember, collaboration fuels change, and your connections can inspire the world.